In this video, I'm only going to be cooking Korean food this week. So I live in Korea and I'm surrounded by amazing Korean food. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I think I've been a little bit complacent. And I'm gonna use this week to challenge myself and hopefully be better at Korean cooking than the week before. Right, Julie? 손? To start off our first meal, I am going to be making the ultimate Korean breakfast, which is bibimbap. Personally, I have so many fond memories of this dish because my dad, he would make it on Saturday mornings when my mom was going to school for her PhD. For the sauce, there's 25 grams of green onion, quarter cup soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, 1 teaspoon gochugaru, Korean chili flakes, and 1 teaspoon of sesame seeds. And this sauce, I'm telling you, is so versatile, so I usually like to make enough to last me throughout the week. My pro tip is to baste the hot oil over the egg so it puffs up like a cloud and the bottom gets nice, crispy, and golden brown. Obviously, a drizzle of sesame oil goes on at the end because I'm Korean, and this to this day is one of my favorite breakfast combo because it's quick, easy, and simply delicious. A taste of childhood. Oh, you know what? You know what would be perfect with this? Chotomate. Because everything is better wrapped. I'm gonna make a couple staple Korean sauces. I'll be making a thick gochujang sauce that you can use for both stir fries and for tteokbokki, and also one great for marinating meat. I'm kinda using the first day to meal prep a little bit, just all the sauces and stuff, because they honestly taste better with time, and it makes the idea of cooking every single meal a little less daunting. For the gochujang sauce, it's going to be half cup gochugaru, half cup soy sauce, half cup mirin, half cup brown sugar, quarter cup rice malt syrup, and half cup minced garlic. I'm calling it a gochujang sauce, but there's no gochujang actually in it because we're essentially making our own gochujang. This version is just a little thinner and it has a cleaner aftertaste in my opinion because there's no starch to thicken it. I use this sauce for stir fries, tteokbokki, and even for fried chicken, and it's really good. And for our protein this week, next week is actually Chuseok, aka Korean Thanksgiving, so I decided to make some marinated short ribs. Into the blender goes in 1 cup soy sauce, half cup mirin, half cup brown sugar, 1 onion, half cup minced garlic. I soaked a kilo of frozen short ribs in cold water for about an hour to get rid of some of the impurities and blood. Rinsed it under cold water, drain it, and then poured over, making sure everything is well submerged. I'm gonna let this marinate in the fridge for 2 days so it gets nice and tender. Also, another essential holiday dish is japchae, and it's definitely a labor of love because it requires a lot of veggie chopping, but if you just get it out of the way, it comes together super quick. I'm also prepping some extra vegetables that I need for the day after because I don't want to clean my cutting board twice. This week, I prepped onions, zucchini, carrots, and Chinese chives cut into matchsticks and stored in an airtight container for easy accessibility. I soaked the sweet potato noodles for about an hour until they doubled in size with some dried wood ear mushrooms. And I'm making a vegan version without any meat because I already have a lot of meat heavy dishes, and personally I don't think that japchae needs meat. For the sauce, it's going to be quarter cup soy sauce, 1 tablespoon dark soy sauce, 2 tablespoons sugar, 1 teaspoon minced garlic, 2 tablespoons vinegar, 2 tablespoons sesame oil, 1 tablespoon of neutral oil. And now that everything is ready, we are gonna start sauteing, and maturing is realizing that one pot meals are the way to go, and I'm gonna be sauteing everything in this white ceramic pot. You wanna saute from the lightest color to the darkest, starting with the onion, then carrots, and the spinach. Set the veggies aside, add in half a cup of water along with the sauce, and simmer the noodles with the wood ear mushrooms. By sauteing the noodles like this, instead of adding the sauce at the end like the usual traditional method, the color is gonna be really nice and golden brown, and there's a really nice aroma that comes from the evaporated vinegar. Once the noodles have cooked through and there's no excess liquid, add the vegetables back in and combine everything together. Plate it and garnish with sesame seeds, and there you have it, my fast and easy vegan japchae. Was it a little bit too much? Yes. But am I Korean? So is there such thing as too much sesame? No. Ugh, warm japchae is such a specialty. It might have been smarter to cut it because it's a little bit long, but it's so good. Julie, you want some vegan japchae? The vinegar definitely like cuts away some of the greasiness and really just makes the dish taste more like itself. But if you're not a big fan of a lot of acidity, just cut it down to half. I personally love it. I think it really makes everything come together really well, but it's up to you. You'll see here that this is a damn good bowl of japchae because even after a couple hours later, the noodles haven't gone mushy. They're still tangy and bouncy like my ass. So store the japchae in an airtight container and I will show you how to utilize it tomorrow. I'm gonna make some dinner. My family's over and we're gonna make some spicy baby octopus with some bean sprouts. So in Korea, they sell these frozen baby octopuses and it's so easy to cook with it. You just have to defrost it in some water and voila. And for the veggies, I already have them pre-prepped with the carrots, cabbage, onions, and some bean sprouts. I'll just assemble this outside because the weather is so nice and it's actually cooling down. So we're gonna celebrate that by eating outside. I'm sorry that the mic is here, but we're trying to do ASMR Oh, do I have sauce on my knees? Delicious. Hey, Julie! But it's the only way right now because we're doing ASMR. The sauce is so killer. I know rice malt syrup is pretty difficult to find, but you gotta find it. It makes the world of a difference because it's like not too sweet, and honey is unfortunately not a good substitute because honey just has that like almost like medicinal aftertaste to it that's like not nice, especially when it's cooked. But rice malt syrup, it has that like almost like molassy aftertaste, and it's just so nice. 국물이 맛있네.
엄청 맛있어. 벌써
먹었어?
아니 이거 맛있어 보여.
맛있어.
그래?
Wow.
Oh, there's something magical about eating it outside also. Good morning. This morning, I'm gonna make some gyeran gimbap, which is rolled egg gimbap. I'm not sure if you've caught on at this point, but I really love eggs. And that's the end of my story. Anyways, I'm gonna use the sauce mixture I made the day before for gimbap to flavor our omelet. I'm also going to add a little extra carrots and scallions to make our cross-section later beautifully speckled. To make a Korean rolled omelet, first you get your pan hot, drizzle in oil, and roll from one end of the pan to another. Then just pour in a little bit of egg mixture at a time, making sure to lift up the omelet so that it can stick on to the new layer. Keep on rolling like you would with a doobie. And there you have it, a kinda ugly shaped omelet, but don't worry because this is Korea and we can fix that with a simple plastic surgery of wrapping it in a kitchen towel tight into a cylinder and setting it aside. Now comes the fun part, assembling the gimbap. Two things you need to know. Number one, the rice should never be hot because too much steam will make the seaweed soggy. And number two, spread that rice thin like your mom's lip. I may be 26, but I could never pass up an opportunity to slide in a your mom joke. Now place your rolled egg in the center and I'm gonna be adding 2 slices of good old American cheese because deep inside, I'm just a filthy boy. Roll it tight like we did with the egg earlier and you got yourself a super easy egg gimbap, perfect for picnics with your imaginary waifu. Brush it with some sesame oil to make it nice and shiny and a little bit of ground up sesame for garnish. So the beauty of this is like putting the vegetables inside the egg omelet, so when you cut into it, like the cross section, it has like this almost terrazzo-like speckles and the cheese obviously. You know how we made japchae last night? Well, we're gonna use that and make gimari and have some tteokbokki with it because I love tteokbokki. This is one of the more modern ways of making gimari using rice paper, and I honestly have never looked back after finding out about this method. It's so simple, hassle-free, and uses a lot less oil. All you need to do is soak some rice paper in cold water, and while the rice paper soaks, prepare your seaweed by cutting it into quarters. Then place the soaked rice paper on a flat surface and put the cut seaweed in the center. I'm filling my gimari with leftover japchae, and when you're rolling the gimari, don't be too greedy because if the seaweed isn't there to gently protect and coat the noodles, everything is gonna start exploding. Trust me, it really comes from experience. Make sure they're tightly rolled. I didn't realize how many things are rolled in this video, but I guess that's the reason why my handle is called Doobydobap. But all jokes and gimari aside, I'm going to prepare a super fast tteokbokki for one using our homemade gochujang sauce. In goes 300 milliliters of water and around 4 tablespoons of our sauce, and adjust the level depending on how spicy you like your tteokbokki. Once the base comes up to a simmer, drop your rice cakes in. I'm just making a super simple version with only rice cakes and leftover cabbage in the fridge, but feel free to put in whatever your heart desires. Simmer your tteokbokki for about 10 minutes or until the rice cakes become soft and pillowy, and I'm going to just transfer this to another stove while we fry up our gimari. For rice paper gimari, it's super important to fry it right before you serve it to maximize that crunch factor. You can both pan fry it or roast it in the air fryer, but I'm going to drizzle in 2 tablespoons of neutral oil in a non-stick skillet on medium heat. Then, once the oil comes up to temperature, gently drop your gimari in. You'll see right away that the rice paper is going to puff up and become blistered. Make sure to keep turning it for about 6 to 7 minutes or until all sides become nice, crispy, and golden brown. is out of this world. I'm telling you, this sauce, it's out of this world. The most important part about this sauce is letting it rest in the fridge overnight so it kind of like marinates and all the flavors get to know each other. And the amount of depth of flavor that develops over time is insane. This is definitely like the more slightly like, I want to say like medium level when it comes to tteokbokki sauces. The ones that I've made before uses like gochujang and it doesn't use rice malt syrup because I wanted it to be very easy. But this is slightly more intermediate because it introduces more novel ingredients, but it is so worth it. And this is really my staple sauce that I always have in the fridge and it lasts like forever. OG doobies will know this. Let's make some fried chicken. Spicy Korean scallion fried chicken. I'm gonna go for the leg first. Chicken is so juicy. Wow. Perfect fry. This is the beauty of double frying. This sauce, I'm telling you, it's spicy, it's sticky, it's sweet, it's everything you want on top of a fried chicken. This is Korea's version of a Nashville hot chicken with green onions and our gochujang sauce. Okay, I'm gonna watch some K-drama while I eat this. Bye-bye. Good morning. We're gonna make some tofu. That's my Kourtney Kardashian voice. And it's literally gonna be so easy. That was bad, that was bad. For breakfast this morning, we're starting off with the protein-rich and filling silken tofu, using the leftover sauce I made for gimbap. I prefer to eat it cold, but if you're irked by the idea of eating cold tofu in the morning, just microwave it for 30 seconds. It's super easy, great plant protein, and keeps you full throughout the day. And the sauce that I put on top, it's so versatile. You can really use it for eggs, tofu, eggs, perilla. Not the best examples that I'm giving out right now, but it'll come to me. It will. For lunch today, I have a lot of leftover veggies, so I am going to make skillet bibimbap. What I love about bibimbap is that it forces you to eat a lot of vegetables. But unless you're cooking for a lot of people, individually preparing all the namu, aka the veggie toppings, on the bibimbap can get pretty time consuming. By pan roasting the vegetables, it's incredibly simple and becomes a one-pan meal. I have my oven preheated at 190 Celsius or 375 Fahrenheit, and I'm using some of the veggies I prepared on Monday. But really, the world is your bibimbap. It's whatever make out of it. I'm putting in onions, zucchini, carrots, and kimchi in the oven. Then I'll add the bean sprouts and spinach just at the end for about a couple of minutes. Now that our veggies are roasted, let's prepare our torsot skillet. For those who've never had bibimbap before, usually it comes in a traditional Korean stone earthenware pot called torsot. But instead, I'm going to be using a skillet today because it's essentially the same thing except even more surface area for the rice to become nice and caramelized. Coat the pan in half and half neutral and sesame oil for the aroma, and put a thin layer of the rice. Place your roasted vegetables on top of the rice, and once the rice starts to sizzle at medium heat, crack in an egg, making sure to not break the yolk. I didn't feel like eating something spicy today, so I omitted the gochujang, but if you want it spicy, feel free to add some. I just added the soy dressing that we made for the eggs. It can really just be anything you have in the fridge all mixed up with a little bit of rice. The thing with bibimbap is that it takes a lot of time to cook each and individual component of the dish, all the namus, but by just cooking it in the oven on a sheet pan, it just eliminates all that work and it reduces your dishes so much. I personally even like it even more because of the caramelization and the char. And by using the skillet, there's just more kernels of that like slightly roasted rice kernels, and that is my favorite. Editing day. I gotta go work. For dinner, we're gonna eat some meat. The key to good galbi is all about basting. So this is my spread. I have some freshly made white rice and some Chinese chives, as well as perilla, which is like the Korean herb. Oh, yeah. And look how beautiful this short rib looks. I'm gonna make a quick sam with the perilla leaf, rice, and a little bit of Chinese chives, as well as the galbi on top. And for some reason, my audio completely cut out here, but this is me taunting you with my bite. Pretty explanatory. Yeah, I was very happy with this galbi. By marinating it in the fridge for 3 days, the meat was so tender and juicy, and it was just, it was actually just so good. I'm actually having a hard time doing this voiceover right now because my mouth is watering so much watching this footage. And yeah, you can clearly see that I was very happy with this bite. This is my Karen dance with my Karen hair. Okay, yeah, that's enough. Good night. Bro, I'm gonna let you in on the single greatest invention after sliced bread. Sliced spam. It's like plastic cheese, but ham. Interesting. Let's give it a try. this is so damn beautiful. Mine's low-key kind of ugly, but so are you, so it's still gonna be delicious. Mmm. I know this is like such a late TikTok trend, but oldie but a goodie. So for lunch, I recently went to this really amazing Chinese Korean restaurant called Ipum, and they have this like really chunky black bean noodles, and I'm gonna try and recreate it because not everyone's gonna be able to come and visit Korea, and I've just been dreaming of it ever since, so I'm gonna try and recreate that. Okay, so the original recipe also has zucchini in the sauce, but I didn't have any, but it still turned out to be really close. Prepare your onions and napa cabbage into 1-inch squares and get your wok ready. Now, I don't have like a jet fuel wok like most Chinese kitchens, and I'm assuming that you also don't, so here's my way around it. Heat your wok to high and drizzle in neutral oil, then saute your vegetables, but most importantly, one at a time. We want to be able to maintain the crunch of the veggies while having a nice charred surface, and we need to avoid overcrowding the wok. So transfer each vegetable after a brief touch on the wok, and this also applies for our beef. Now it's time to toast our black bean paste, and this is usually what scares a lot of people, but it's not so difficult. Drizzle in a 1/4 cup of neutral oil, and with the heat on medium-low, add in your black bean paste. Stir to combine, making sure to emulsify and toast the paste evenly, and you'll know that your paste is ready when it starts to look like small chunks. Once it does, drizzle in soy sauce and you'll be hit with this amazing, intense toasty smell, and that's exactly what we're looking for to recreate that smoky wok hei aroma. Then you want to add in your sugar to create a caramel, and in goes the vegetables. The key to a good kanjajang is to not put any water or potato starch, but to let the moisture from the vegetables be the base for the sauce. Mix the combine and serve it with some fresh noodles. Pretty freaking close. It's actually very, very similar to what I ate. I'm actually very happy about this. They have like slightly different ingredients, but I made the simplified version. But the key is that there's no water added in this. It's just using the water coming out from the vegetables and just frying everything quickly. This is what good jjajangmyun is supposed to sound like. This is Ipum at home. Wow. I think having jjajangmyeon for lunch has awakened this craving for noodles inside of me. So today I'm gonna make my infamous chili oil ramen, but with a little more broth, because I'm feeling brothy. So I'm gonna call this soondubu ramen, because I also have some silken tofu, and it's always bulking season for some plant protein. So one of my most viral recipes I've ever made was chili oil ramen, and I never knew in a million years that that would be popular because it was literally a stupid little idea that I had one night and more than 80 million people have seen it. And in a way, I feel like sometimes it's the simplest recipes that resonates with the most people than like super complex fancy dishes, and it's something that I've been thinking about more lately. Anyways, this soondubu ramen is an ode to the simpler days when I was living at my parents' house, sneaking around and making ramen and content. Get your pot ready and heat up 2 tablespoons of neutral oil. Add your soup packet in, essentially making a chili oil, and then add your water. My tip is to add 100 ml less than the package directions because we'll be supplementing it with some silken tofu later on. Drop your noodles in, and once the noodles have just started to untangle, add your tofu and crack in an egg. I garnished mine with some thinly sliced leeks that I had in the fridge, and there you have it, spicy chili oil soondubu ramen. Oh, spoon. Look at the yolk right here. I think I'm just gonna break it apart. Oh, a little bit of the soondubu and the chili oil rising to the top. Dude, looks so good. Yeah. Wow. What the oil does is it like blooms the spices and it makes kind of like an aromatic chili oil, and it's so good. And the key to making good soondubu ramen is 100 ml less than the package directions for water because you want the broth to be salty to compensate for some of the silken tofu. Yeah, I needed some broth in my life. Morning. I'm gonna make a little bit of a breakfast, lunch kind of thing, brunch. I'm gonna make it one pot because I don't want to do dishes and I'm out of rice. Sotbap is literally just pot rice, and yeah, that's it. Actually, is this two? Is this one pot? One pot, one pan. It's not bad. Pot rice is my go-to meal when I run out of rice because there's nothing that beats a fresh bowl of rice. As for toppings, I realized I didn't have any fish this week, so I defrosted some salmon bits I had in the freezer and pan-fried it with some brown sugar, mirin, and soy. Simmer it until it becomes a thick glaze. I also used the leftover chives to create like a bed of chives for the salmon bites to lay on, and drizzled in some sesame oil and seeds for the final garnish. Like freshly made pot rice. Well, actually gonna be a little bit disgusting and put some mayo on top of it. It's not disgusting. It's good. It's like basically Emily Mariko's salmon rice, but yeah, it's actually the same. Why is mine so non-aesthetic and diarrhea-y? Aesthetic food vlogs are not gonna happen in my lifetime. Oh, that was kind of a pick-me comment because I know my food looks good. Even better. This is going to be my last meal. And for my last meal, is it really Korean food if there's no kimchi and pork belly? I'm gonna make some bossam.
Brothers, one day we gon' make it. We just gotta grind for that paycheck. Mama told me one day I'll be famous. Remember when she used to say she hated it. Back then they would laugh when I say shit. Now I'm inside people's pay.
So while the bossam's going, I'm gonna make a little fresh kimchi called gyeran. Ignore my mess in the background. Shit happens, okay? Bossam! I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't been cooking as much lately just because life has been a little bit hectic, but this was really fun actually. I felt like I was getting a little afraid that my Korean cooking was gonna be a little bit rusty. It wasn't. I'm gonna have all the recipes linked down below, so if you wanna try it out, try it out. And that's it. See you soon, doobies. I'm gonna enjoy my bossam now. Have a good night. Jjajang. See you next time, doobies.